Hello, Celia.
So, you and I are two Dungeons and Dragons virgins.
Yeah, we don't know anything about it.
We don't know
nothing
anything about
it. I mean, all I know is that there were people who were living, dying, and breathing, eating, and sleeping D&D years ago, decades ago. And all I know is that it got very complicated, and I just didn't want to bother with it. And it wasn't my thing anyway.
Yeah, we're virgins about a lot of pop culture things, and I've never been. I used to play games many, many, many years ago, but they just got too complicated for me. Like you would install it, and you would have this huge dashboard, and it would be like 45 minutes before you could even start playing. And I kind of lost interest in gaming when it got so sophisticated. So. Anyway, I never played D&D, but we decided to go see D&D, the movie, as part of my pop culture literacy project. It's me dragging you in on this. And as I understand it, at first glance, you said it was a colossal waste of time, and I liked it. So,
yes.
So you go first. You read your little outline, and then I'll read mine, and then we'll have a free-for-all.
Well, I don't really have an outline. I just have some good points and bad points.
Okay, so let's have your notes.
Okay, so so overall, I say it was a waste of time because of all of the CG, the noise, all this stuff that you just didn't need. It was just like too much. It was just like overload. And they just went into CG way too often just because they could. The movie was just a vehicle for showcasing CG, and it was absolutely overwhelming. It had the effect on me of it just totally drowned out this really beautiful morality tale that was in that movie. Absolutely beautiful. But it was like going to a restaurant with a beautiful, just a lovely, delicious, perfect meal. And there's like a band, some kind of like a heavy metal band, and you're right next to the amplifier. It just ruined everything. It just ruined everything for me. It did. And there were so many things in there that were not necessary for the story. They were just there to just because somebody wanted to design a walking brain, like those walking brains inside the vault. What was that about? There was like totally nothing. Fortunately, it lasted for 3 seconds. They could have just cut it completely. But you know what it reminded me of was a latter-day version of this sequence in Alice in Wonderland, the original animated film, where Alice is going through, she's going through the Tulgey Wood. And all of these little characters are designed. It does absolutely nothing for the story. It is a sequence that is roundly criticized. Has been ever since it came out. It just is a pointless sequence. It's a waste of time, and all it is just a bunch of crazy characters that were designed that move about in very strange ways, and then that's it. There's nothing to it, and that's what those brains reminded me of. It's like these things are absolutely pointless. They are meaningless to the story. They're just there to get a wow out of you. And at this point, you're well past any kind of wow factor. And now, okay, so that was kind of what ruined it for me. And also, there were some other things. I thought that the script was kind of dumbed down.
At this point, I just want to note for our audience's benefit that you are actually an artist in Hollywood, and you know whereof you speak. You know how to balance the visuals and the story and the everything, and you're telling us you got real CG overload here. This is from the
totally. See, now if I was a 13-year-old, maybe I would love it. But I mean, it got real tired real fast. And also, I thought the script was dumbed down. The dialogue was dumbed down. I thought the Chris Pine character just got sarcastic way too easily whenever he was faced with any of the 712 life-threatening circumstances in the movie. Like, he would start joking. And there was another thing, too. There were too many little magical items to keep track of. All these little whiz-bang gizmos and gadgets. I couldn't keep track of them all. It was hard for me to keep track of them. And then, like, they would introduce some little gadget. It would magically, they would come upon some little gizmo that they happened to need at that very moment. Now, I must say, one of those gadgets was my absolute favorite thing in the whole movie. So even though I got tired of all this very convenient, the hither-thither sticky thingy was fabulous. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was genius. That was just absolute brilliance. Whoever thought that up is a genius. That was brilliant. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then also, I don't know about where you were in your theater, but my theater had the projection going on the two side walls as well. Did you have that?
No. So you got some sort of surround.
The theater that I was at had this new techno cool innovation where the film projected onto the side walls as well. Cool. So you were just looking at you were focusing on the main screen, but there was actual footage on the sides too.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was nice. It was nice. There were a few little glitchy things about it, but it was kind of fun. Otherworldly locations. It just was way too much, and it ruined the movie for me. Now, I'm sure that for some people, it would totally make the movie, but it ruined it for me, along with this script. The things that I liked were the hither-thither stick. That was my favorite thing. Mm-hmm. I loved the morality tale inside that movie. Mm-hmm. I thought it was wonderful. Mm-hmm. The how to focus on what's really important in life. And I loved the fact that it was woke free. There just wasn't anything woke in it. I don't remember anything wokey in it. I don't remember anything. And one of those guys was my favorite actor in the whole thing. Actually, all of the performances were really, really good. I thought all of them were great, but my favorite was Justice Smith, who played Simon. And I could really see, Simon the Magician. I can really see a spin-off with Simon and Doric. I could see that. I could see a spin-off movie with those two. I thought the movie, I was a total D&D know nothing. I come from total nothing knowingness, total geekdom when it comes to this. I did not need to know D&D in order to see the movie. I'm sure that it didn't. I didn't need any references back to the game. I'm sure that there are lots of little things that people would pick up on, references to the game, and it would make it more fun for them. But I picked up on. I noticed a couple of things that I thought, this is probably in the game, like those chests that kept on popping up when they were in the arena.
Open the chest and grab something, or open the chest and you might get something might jump out and eat you.
It's either good or it's bad. Yeah, it's either going to save you or kill you. I figured that was probably out of the game. I mean, I have no idea, but it was another thing that bugged me. It's just
that you could see game references. You could just kind of.
Well, I could see game references, but it was just like these chests all of a sudden showed up. All of a sudden. Okay, so that bugged me. But anyway, nice performances. It was pure, sheer adventure with a very nice morality tale. It worked perfectly fine as a standalone film. And I really, I liked the end. Can we say what the end was? Can we do these?
Yes, we can spoil. We'll spoil. We'll spoil. Yes.
I thought it was absolutely, clearly, it was the best thing to allow the wife to stay dead. And to bring Holga back, because she actually was the mother. She raised that child. So she deserved And
yes.
the kid was just crying. The kid was crying and weeping and wailing that she had died. And well, I don't even remember what was Chris Pine's character name. The dad. Anyway, he was very affected by that, and he saw the error of his ways. He wanted to get his dead wife back, and he had already felt so much shame and remorse for putting himself ahead of his kid in the first place. And so he did the right thing, and he brought back the woman who had raised his child. Mm-hmm. So that was the right thing to do. And Holka herself was rewarded for all those long years of child raising, and she only did that because the baby needed her. That kid needed her. So that's what I thought about the movie.
Okay, this is interesting because you and I, without even prior consultation, have quite a few thoughts in common. By the way, my theater was nearly empty, so I couldn't tell. I imagine when really familiar game references came up, if there were people, like if it was a crowded theater with people who recognized the references, you might have heard a chuckle every now and then. Like the first time I went to see Pirates of the Caribbean, like everyone chuckled when they saw that. Those prisoners offering the dog a bone through something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and
my
I think
theater was really empty too.
Yeah. But I bet you the potatoes, I have the suspicion in the game that, what's her name, Holka eats potatoes for strength.
Something. I don't even know if Holka was in was she in the game or is she a made-up character for the movie? I don't even know.
So here's what I have. All right.
Okay.
So my expectations went way down within the first 3 to 5 minutes, or in other words, what I would say, I relaxed my expectations because those first 3 to 5 minutes established that this movie is light, Lite. Mm-hmm. So I found the movie likable, but not lovable. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, was lovable. I watched it over and over. But this movie, I would tell everyone, watch it once, but I will not watch it twice. Okay, so here were the things that I saw in the first 3 to 5 minutes that told me, no, okay, just sit back. This isn't your. So one was, the opening situation, we have people in a frozen hellscape dungeon. And they actually look pretty happy and good spirited,
and healthy
and comfortable. Yeah.
Yes.
Considering what they've been going through, and they're about to be imprisoned with this literal monster for a cellmate, and exactly what you said, our hero wisecracks. What does he do? Here, we're just going to have this monster for your cellmate, and he starts to wisecrack. And no matter, this is the way it is throughout the entire movie, no matter how dire the situation, he wisecracks. And here is where the execution falls off. The cracks aren't funny. I mean, you can do better with these jokes than to just acknowledge that something dangerous just happened and you are merely brushing it off. I mean, when you do that the first time, okay, I get it. This is a guy who just laughs at danger. But I mean, he even less than laughs. He barely even acknowledges it. And once you have established that, it's just the same joke over and over and over and over and over. I mean, start putting some dialogue in there. Start putting some wit in there. They're just,
right.
It's just like a reaction shot and him going, "Oh no, that's bad. What did you say?" I mean, that's the way it is.
Right.
There's never a funny wisecrack. So, the first 3 to 5 minutes, what else did we see? Okay, this girl is Chewbacca.
Yes.
She's muscular for a girl, but there is no squadron of armed knights, no monsters, no nothing that she can't just pound off with her bare fists.
Yes.
So we're gonna have we better just get used to the idea that we have a girl who can beat up. I mean, statues, knights.
10 knights in armor.
Yes, 10 armored knights. Yes, she can beat them up. So you just got to accept that. And then the other thing I wrote down, the CG was just fake and comic. It's just comical. I mean, to me, it was just it was so sublime that it was comical. That's what I got with this CG also. It's just, okay, this is not a real place. This is a comic. So anyway, now some of that, it was full of tropes, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We have 2 guys and 2 girls on a quest. Okay, we have 4 people on a quest, like the Wizard of Oz. Now, here's something that annoyed me a little. The two guys are doofuses. The guys are doofuses. There's
That's
Mr.
true.
Wisecracker.
Yeah.
And then the girls, on the other hand, are Chewbacca, and then Little Miss Misanthrope Halfling, whose magic is better than the male magician's magic. And she's Little Miss Snarly Face, Little Miss Scowly Face.
Yeah, and she actually was one of the, she came up with, she was smart. She was clearly brainy.
Brainy and aggrieved.
Yes, she was aggrieved.
More tropes. The big quest has various sub-quests. You have to do all these other things in order to get the big thing.
Yes.
And then, and in the course of in the course of knocking over all these sub-quests, the hero's attitude towards the big quest changes. So at the end, something is lost, but something better is gained. Now, something else that and this is all very tropey and formulaic, but it was okay because it was that was the little thread of sincerity, or the little vein of sincerity running through this movie, that this Zero, who wisecracks his way out of every life or death situation, actually had he had this little character thing going on. Now, and the other thing, here's something I always wanted to see in a movie with magic, is people just addressing the whole magic thing. Can't you just magic it away? Can't you just can you magic our way over there? Can you magic the bridge? Because this is why I always got exasperated with Harry Potter, because the magic would just come in randomly.
Well,
it was always just around the corner. Yeah.
Yes, but see, I think that happened in this movie too. It was very convenient. Magic would show up very conveniently when they needed it.
Well, that's true. That's true, but there were some situations where they couldn't just magic it away, and it was always reasonable. The non-magical characters were always saying, "Well, can't you just magic it? I mean, why can't you just magic it?" And that's true. It sounded sort of like the writer's excuse for not magicking everything away. And actually having an excuse for an episode or a little sequence of, running or nearly burning, or having to fight, having to use fisticuffs, which Harry Potter, my highly reviled, I just will never defend Harry Potter on that score. The unbearable Harry Potter never takes care of that. Magic is always just around the corner, and it just appears just when you need it. Anyway, so, I have no idea what D&D is like. And also, I can't even imagine that D&D has these zeros, like people who just wisecrack around. I don't know if you joke in games. I don't know if you tell jokes.
I always thought it was more about the weapons in that game. Like, the weapons have certain powers. It's like rock, paper, scissors on steroids. Like this weapon can... I don't even know. Slice time in half, and the other one can put it together, or whatever,
Yeah. So this wouldn't make you any more likely to go out and play the game, would it?
Not at all, in any way, shape, or form.
Me neither. I think, maybe just to close the loop on this, I might watch some YouTubes of people playing Dungeons and Dragons just to see, what their experience is like. It is interesting to me also that, I don't know, they're saying this movie is flopping?
Oh, is it? Well, there might have been, at the very most, 10 people in the theater where I was.
Yeah, very few in my theater. Of course, we went to see it on a Wednesday night?
Yeah, it was a Wednesday night.
Went to see it on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But, because there's crowded theaters on Wednesday nights, too. And I did read some good reviews. I don't mean critics reviews, I mean real people reviews. There's a popular YouTuber and a popular blogger, and they liked it. All right, so there's our review of D&D from two gaming virgins. We're also Mario Brothers virgins too. So
yeah.
We'll go see that and see what we think. But I would like to know what if gamers, if actual D&D players. I don't know what they got out of it. Because again, as I understand it, these games have gotten so sophisticated that basically everyone has their own experience of a game. Everyone has their own environment, their own characters, their own
yeah, you
own
can build
battles.
Your own,
yeah. And I'm thinking that's where the gaming experience comes in, or that's where the gaming influence comes in, because gamers do not want to watch realistic landscapes and architecture.
And then also too, I mean, just the situations that they were in. Every 4.5 minutes, they had to be in a life-threatening situation, and I just got tired of it because as soon as they entered one of these life-threatening situations, I would just sit there and say, okay, well, in 4.5 minutes, they're going to be out of it and into another one. And sure enough, I wasn't wrapped around any of these characters, but I couldn't have gotten wrapped around them anyway because of the story. I mean, it just, oh God.
Oh, it's funny about that every 4.5 minutes, because I actually found myself being pulled in to those sequences, and I felt suspense, and I really liked some of the inventiveness of bridges collapsing and monsters just forming out of rocks, and I was kind of intrigued by always wanting to know what danger was around the corner and how what was going to fail in their plan to see how they would extemporize and fix. So my expectations of entertainment, what I want to get out of a movie changed around 9/11. I was kind of depressed. I wanted to get out of my head around 9/11, and on September 12th, 2001, I thought, I am going to go see a movie. I don't care what's playing. And in my little town I was living at that time, was very limited in my choices. And I think it was a Jackie Chan movie that was playing. I can't remember which one. And Jackie Chan was not. I'd never seen a Jackie Chan movie because I was too much of an English major snob, and I just wouldn't go see some stupid choppy sake movie. But that's all there was, so I went to see it, and I loved it. It was actually funny. And it was kind of well directed and well acted, and it had the kind of humor that you could not use today. You couldn't tell those jokes today. It had good-looking people. It had funny, goofy action sequences. It was just watchable and enjoyable. So I realized that as an English major, while I do appreciate these BBC adaptations of Pride and Prejudice and what have you, I can also just enjoy going to a movie and just getting out of my head for 2 hours and being absorbed by the visuals and the dialogue and the music and the story, and I come out and like, oh, where was I for 2 hours? It's darker out now.